Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, you know what it is. A lot of people gonna say it's Hump Day, and it is. It is Hump Day, but it's also Wednesday, 360-degree health, and that you know what that means. That means I got my main man, Dr. Michael Mantell, with us today. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. I'm always looking forward to Wednesday's 360-degree health with my two favorites. Here they are.
And we also got Dr. Michelle Cooley. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're excited to have this guest on the show today. We always love, our 360-degree health day amongst other days, and we're just raring to go.
I'm ready to go because this Doc been on our show about 3.5, 4 years ago. He probably forgot, but hey, we're going to bring it back to him. I tell you what, hey, Todd, how are you doing, man? We need to get this show rocking and rolling because we ready. This guest that we got on the show today is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, so let's lock in all the platforms and let's get rocking and rolling.
Get back.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Doctor James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And we got the executive producer here and also our host, Dr. Michelle Cooley. But we got the main man, my main man, Dr. Michael Mantell here again. I look forward to Wednesdays because we always, at least Dr. Michael Mantell, always bring the best in the world to the show to educate our viewers and our listeners and also give them an insight on a lot of different things that are going on in the medical field. I'm talking about different facets of the medical field. And we got one of the best in the business joining us today. So Dr. Michael Mantell, I am so excited about this guest that we have on the show today.
Good reason to be, because this guest is super special. This is really a special guest. When I thought of reaching out to him, I hesitated. And I had to talk to myself about this. Oh my God, come on. And he couldn't have been more gracious. And then I come to find out a little while ago, he was on 3-4 years ago. So it wasn't 360-degree health then, but this is really an incredibly impactful guy. And we have so much information we're going to learn this next hour. Our health is going to increase and improve based on what we learn. So let's get into it.
Wow. And Dr. Cooley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Our guest, he's a busy man. I mean, I'm sure he's been on multiple platforms and written so many articles. He is one of the busiest man in, I wouldn't say show business, but he's been the busiest man in his profession.
Healthcare.
So I tell you what, whichever platform you watch, whether you watching us on the E360 television, transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, or over 68 live different platforms, welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments on the platforms you're watching us on, put in any comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. KCBQ AM 1170, answer FM 96.1. And my main man, Todd, will patch you through. Michelle, can you please tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Oh, most definitely. So, audience, it's 360-degree Health Day, and the title is Building Health for Life, Insights on Nutrition, Prevention, and Well-Being. And we have a sit-down discussion with Dr. David L. Katz. He's a specialist in internal medicine, preventive medicine, public health, lifestyle medicine. He's also an author. He's going to discuss the importance of lifestyle medicine in modern healthcare, the power of preventive medicine, nutrition, and its role in combating chronic diseases. So Dr. Katz, he's the founder and former director of Yale University's Yale Griffin Prevention Research Center, past president president of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, founder of the nonprofit True Health Initiative, and founder of Diet ID Inc., and chief medical officer for Tangelo. He's a fellow of the American College of Preventive Medicine, the American College of Physicians, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and so much more. He's the recipient of numerous awards for teaching, writing, and contributions to public health. Dr. Katz, the 2019 James Beard Foundation Award nominee in health journalism, is a 2023 recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from Doctors World Gala, has received 3 honorary doctorates. He holds multiple U.S. patents, has roughly 250 peer-reviewed publications, and so much more. I'm going to let him tell it. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. David L. Katz.
Wow, thank you. I'm not going to tell that part. What I want to tell is I'm jealous, James, of your sizzle reel at the start of the show. That thing is really rocking. It's great to be back. Great. You guys have been so kind already. I've already had a wonderful time. I haven't even gotten started. So thanks so much for having me.
Well, just like Michelle said, Doc, you one of the busiest man in the medical field, and probably a whole lot of other things, nonprofit, husband, father, all these other different type of things that you're doing.
You know who I think is the busiest? I think it's Al Roker. Isn't Al Roker everywhere simultaneously? How does he even? I think Al teleports. Next to Al Roker, I'm pretty busy, but I think Al takes the cake.
I love the guy. I've actually met him a number of times. He is a great guy.
I've been on the Today Show back in the day a number of times. I know Al. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, but he's ubiquitous. How does anybody get to so many places? I've never understood it.
It's all AI. It's not real.
Got to be some kind of magic.
Dr. Katz, we are going to learn so much from you today in the areas of preventive medicine, nutrition, which is a big area today. Everyone's worried about what they should or should not eat this, eat not that. And we want to learn about this area called lifestyle medicine, which is near and dear to my heart. So, James, how do we jump in?
Well, first of all, I know Michelle kind of talked about Dr. Katz a little bit, but Dr. Katz, can you please tell our audience a little bit more about you? What makes you click? Why are you so passionate about what you do?
So I'll tell the story of my career arc very briefly. I wanted to make a difference. I think it's something in your DNA. It's in your character. It's in your upbringing. It's the values your family imparts to you. My dad's a cardiologist. I saw vividly as a kid growing up the example of somebody who was making life and death decisions and saving lives. And it's pretty compelling. And, as I grew into the ability to have that kind of option, I thought, I want that. I want to make a really major difference in the world. And then the question was how to do it. And I debated several things, but ultimately went into the family business, as it were, and decided on medicine. And then I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with medicine, so I chose internal medicine to get the broadest possible education. And that's when I had my first epiphany, because, when you're doing your training in internal medicine, during your residency, you're in the hospital 100 hours a week, 110 hours a week, and you're taking care of hospitalized people. So those are the sickest people. Basically, your job is to try to prevent them from dying on your shift, because any number of them could on any given day. And what struck me was that although learning how to take care of people who are critically ill was an honor, a privilege, a calling, and I relished playing that role, I also couldn't escape the feeling that in some sense I was learning how to be one of the king's horses and one of the king's men, and all of my patients were Humpty Dumpty. In other words, we kept letting people fall off the wall and then sending in the ambulance. We didn't do anything to fix the wall. We didn't do anything to lower the wall, or put a seatbelt on the wall, or put cushions at the base of the wall. And our best efforts in the hospital, and admittedly, modern medicine is quite powerful and we can do some amazing things, but our best efforts patching people up never uncracked the shell. In other words, we were never able to restore fully intact vitality. We just wound up managing the damage. And sure, sometimes we were able to forestall death, and sometimes we were able to get people home, but truly intact vitality was very, very elusive. And I thought we should be able to do better than this. let's fix the wall. In other words, let's do prevention. Yes, I want to take care of people after they get sick, but I want to have a hand in preventing the next cohort, the kids of these people, from experiencing the same fate. Let's try to work it out so they don't ever have to come into the hospital in the first place. So I went shopping around for the best ways to do that, and found my way to the preventive medicine residency at Yale, which is what landed me at Yale, where I spent over 30 years. And so I did a second residency in preventive medicine, public health. And then I had my second epiphany. So I knew I wanted to do everything possible to prevent chronic diseases, in particular heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, and obesity as a causal factor of all of those, because those were the conditions that were siphoning the most years from life and the most life from years. Now, I wanted to go after the big fish, as it were. And I graduated that residency in 1993. And I had all kinds of ideas about how I was going to combine research with my clinical practice. And I thought, James, that I was going to do what most researchers do, which is try to ask the unasked question, to boldly go where no one's gone before, push back the frontiers of human understanding and knowledge. And that's what researchers do. I thought that's what I would do. And then a paper was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in, let's call it September of 1993, within weeks of me being a newly minted preventive medicine specialist. And the paper was entitled Actual Causes of Death in the United States. Bill Faggy, Mike McGinnis were the authors. And I don't know too many colleagues who can point to a single research publication and say, this changed the trajectory of my entire career. But this did, because what these authors did was, again, the title itself is pretty provocative, Actual Causes of Death. It implies we're getting what we think are the causes of death wrong. And basically that's what they said, because they said on death certificates, what you get is heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes. Maybe you get a little more detail. So maybe you get atherosclerosis causing the heart disease, causing the heart attack, causing the death. But what you really want to know is what caused the atherosclerosis, what set the disease process in motion, because that's the fixable thing. Saying that a heart attack occurred because a heart disease occurred because of atherosclerosis, none of that tells us what to do. But saying that was due to tobacco or poor diet or physical activity, suddenly we have a mandate. So they looked beyond the causes listed on death certificates and enumerated the causes of those causes, the true root causes of premature death. And the top three, they had a list of 10.
Hey,
the
Doc,
top three.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a station break.
Okay. My answer's too long.
We're going to come back and, you know what, we're going to talk about the top three. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things. Dr. Mike is coming up, and I know he got some serious questions for you. I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone. Dial 1-888-344-1170 again. That's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view.
Hey, 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 hey. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. Hey.
paints a picture about his arrival in a rural Deep South town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, Dr. Katz, I was just sitting back just listening to him, and I almost forgot the commercial.
Well, I did. I wasn't looking at the chat saying 4 minutes to it. Stop talking already. Oh, I got it. I'll pay more attention from now on.
No. It was what you were explaining was so important that I said I'm gonna get every second out of this before I had to, just go to the commercial. And I tell you, I want to pick it right back up where you was at and turn it over to Dr. Mike. But I tell you, our audience, come on now. I can see that. I can see we've got a lot of people watching and listening. But if you want to be part of the conversation, stop being scared. Go to the platforms you're watching us on. Ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and call Todd at 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Dr. Mike, I'm turning it over to you.
All right. Well, yeah, I saw that you were so engrossed in what Dr. Katz was saying. I said to myself, he doesn't know there's a commercial coming up. In any case, I'm watching. Don't worry, James. I got it. Look, you started to allude to three things, and I want to come back to that. And then I got another question I want to pick up on. But let's not leave the audience hanging.
Okay.
My analogy is the fence on top of the hill instead of the ambulance at the bottom of the hill. Now, you may need an ambulance. People may climb the fence. But what are the three things you were going to talk about?
Yeah, so just quickly. So this paper I was talking about, actual causes of death in the United States, concluded that 80% of premature deaths in chronic disease were attributable to bad use of feet, forks, and fingers.
Right.
In other words, lack of physical activity, poor dietary pattern, and using our fingers to bring tobacco to our mouths. And so tobacco, poor diet, lack of physical activity. And it changed my career, Mike, because the issue was, how can you justify spending a research career asking new questions when the answers we already have could eliminate 80% of chronic disease and premature death, so much human misery? And I decided then and there, my research career has to be about translation, turning what we know into what we do. The issue really wasn't the what. We already had the what. The issue was the how. How do we make this play in Peoria? How do we make this work in the real world? How do we turn knowledge into the power of actually helping people? So that's the story of my career in a nutshell.
Amazing. And you're just so blessed to be able to have that fulfilled. And I'm sure that your family just is in admiration of it all. So I was going to ask you about what you consider the most important findings or insights from your work in preventive medicine. And I think you've sort of answered that. You take the average person, would you rather treat an illness after you have it or prevent it? Most people are going to say prevent it. So let's talk about this area of lifestyle medicine. I want you to explain lifestyle medicine. A lot of us refer to the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, the pillars of health, and so forth. And why do you believe it's crucial for addressing modern health challenges? So let's get into this lifestyle medicine.
Sure. Well, first of all, we live mired in a lot of chronic disease. So something is badly broken in our culture. There's a lot of junk where food ought to be. There's a lot of technology displacing what used to be normal levels of physical activity for adults, for kids, hectic schedules, both for adults and kids. We've expunged a lot of physical activity that used to be part of the school day. So we have a lot conspiring against us, and we're reaping the whirlwind. We have epidemic levels of obesity, epidemic levels of type 2 diabetes, which, by the way, used to be a disease just of adults, and it now affects children too. We have still rampant heart disease, and on it goes. So we have a lot of conditions we don't need to get. And I don't think people realize that we don't need to get these conditions. Remember what I said about the actual causes of death. Just three things, just not smoking, eating optimally, and being physically active could reduce your risk for any of this horrible stuff by 80%. And what that means at the population level is 8 times in 10 the people you know and love who are getting things like diabetes or cancer or having a stroke, they don't need to. It doesn't need to happen. Imagine a world where 8 times in 10, among all the people you care about, those things didn't happen. That's the value proposition of lifestyle medicine, because medicine is medicine. We treat after the fact. Lifestyle medicine can do that too. There are studies to show we can reverse heart disease. We can reverse type 2 diabetes. We can treat hypertension as effectively as drugs. We can treat kidney disease. We can slow the development of dementia and preserve cognitive function, and on it goes. But unlike any other kind of medicine, you don't give medicine to healthy people hoping it'll keep them healthy. With lifestyle, it's exactly what you do. If you eat optimally, if you avoid toxins like tobacco, if you get enough physical activity, and several other things, get enough high quality sleep, avoid too much stress, and love somebody. We are social creatures. We need other people. John Donne said it best, right? No one is an island. And so social connections, I just call that love, because all love is good love. Friendship is love. There's romantic love. There's love of parent for child. But we need our tribe. We really do. And so feet, forks, fingers, sleep, stress, and love. Feet, physical activity. Forks, dietary patterns. Fingers, don't do this. Don't bring tobacco to your lips. Get enough sleep. Avoid too much stress, or manage the stress you have. And hug somebody. Have healthy relationships. Those are the pillars of lifestyle medicine. The practice of lifestyle medicine is how to troubleshoot the fact that those things are very elusive in modern life, right? It's easy to talk about them, hard to do. How do you avoid stress? How do you get high quality sleep when you're stressed out? How do you exercise daily when you have a hectic schedule, you're not sleeping enough, and you're stressed out and you're too damn tired? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And there are answers. There are answers. So, there's a skill set, and health professionals who are knowledgeable in this area can help. So the idea of lifestyle medicine is to intervene across the full spectrum, from cultivating vitality at its origins, to preventing disease, to managing disease, to reversing disease. And it need not be instead of pharmacotherapy and surgery. Remember, I'm an internist. I prescribe drugs. I've sent people to the OR. It can be along with, but often it is instead of. And we can talk about the evidence around the world that when people get lifestyle right, they need a whole lot less of any other kind of medicine.
When we talk about internal medicine, the idea of it's internal. What's the opposite of internal? External. And when I talk about lifestyle medicine, I say, look, these are external things that you can be doing. Now, it's driven by what you think. I want to get into the True Health Initiative and Diet ID, two of your wonderful, wonderful children, if you will, that you have been raising and bringing to the world. Let's talk about the True Health Initiative first, okay? Tell us, what are its main goals? Introduce us to what this is all about.
I've been very concerned for a long time, even before the advent of social media, that one of the greatest threats to our progress in modern healthcare, and we can talk about what healthcare ought to be maybe before we're done, because we have a disease care system. We don't really have a healthcare system. But I think of true healthcare, one of the greatest threats is misinformation and disinformation and pseudo doubt. And what made me aware of that even before social media, because it's a much bigger problem now, is fad diets. In my career, I focused preferentially on nutrition, and fad diets have been a problem forever. We're going back decades. And the idea is, here is the remedy. I am a renegade genius. I know stuff nobody else knows or is willing to tell you. I've come up with some harebrained theory. Buy my book. And then when that doesn't work, okay, now there's a new book and a new book and and they're all nonsense. And
you mean kale shakes aren't going to cure everything I have?
Kale shakes might, actually.
You heard it here first, James.
Yeah. And it's not just that it's a whole lot of nonsense, but it's actually nonsense that gets reheated and reserved, because our memories are short. We forget that we tried keto 20 years ago. And so they roll the same thing out again. So I just saw us basically engaged in this endless loop of going nowhere. And I was really frustrated with that. And I thought, we need a remedy. And the remedy we need has to be a signal audible above the noise. You guys do radio, so you appreciate that, right? I mean, you need a powerful signal if you want to be heard. And I thought, no one person has a voice powerful enough to rise above the constant, confusing chorus of nonsense. But if we pulled together and pooled our voices, like the Who's and Horton Hears a Who, basically, maybe we can amplify the signal and be audible. So I started reaching out to colleagues saying, would you be willing to stand up and be counted in public and say, we know what the fundamentals of healthy nutrition and healthy lifestyle are, and to represent that along with people you may look like you disagree with. So, for example, you could be a world-leading expert in the vegan diet, or a world-leading expert in a low-carb diet, or paleo, or Mediterranean. But I want you all to say that fundamentally a diet of real food, mostly plants, is better for people and better for the planet and better for our fellow creatures. And I want you to say how much of a difference it could make. And I want you to say that everybody deserves to know this and to be able to act on it. And I started asking around, and everybody I talked to, and across that very broad spectrum of different points of view and different areas of focus, started saying yes. And then before I knew it, I had 100 colleagues from 10 countries. And then I had 200 colleagues from 30 countries. And then I had 500 colleagues from 50 countries. And that's basically the backbone of the True Health Initiative. It's this coalition of global experts coming together to defend the science and the sense of healthy living.
Wow. You know, I almost missed the break again.
No, but I'm watching. I was what? Did you notice my timely stop? I'm watching now.
You saw me do this like 1 minute. Like,
yeah, fool me once.
You know, I
very casual.
Hey, Doc, information that you are sharing with us and sharing with our audience, and I'm talking about educating Doc and I on this, is invaluable. And we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up because we got a whole lot more that Dr. Katz is going to share with you. And I tell you, if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you that we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right?
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
And success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying this conversation with Dr. David Katz and, of course, Dr. Michael Mantell. I am enjoying this. I'm learning a whole lot, and I have to go to my producer in California. Hey, Todd, have you learned anything yet?
Learning a lot. I got to get another pencil. I'm taking so much notes here.
Are you eating low fat or high fat?
Hey, Todd, one thing that we did not do this time is we did not grab like 8-9 bags of popcorn, because we had 2 doctors on here right here, and I didn't want him to talk about the cholesterol levels that we get from the popcorn with all the butter on it.
I'm telling you, we're using avocado spray. It's all right.
There you go. Yeah, you can do popcorn right.
David, we're in trouble here, man.
That's all right. I think we can sort it out. Hey, James, I just wanted to say, you are a charisma beast. You know, we're watching this stuff during the commercial breaks, and you're a pretty busy guy yourself, and very, very impressive.
He is the most inspiring.
He's a charisma beast, isn't he?
He is. He's uplift wherever he goes. Wherever he goes.
Hey, I really appreciate that so much, Doc. You know, so I tell you, all the things that you're talking about, you caught my attention about the diet ID. You know, so I want to know how it works and how can it help individuals improve their eating habits, also the interest in technology and other things that's going to promote a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm just going to connect the dots and tie that in with the True Health Initiative, because we were talking about that before. So people want to learn more. I founded the True Health Initiative as a nonprofit, a source of information. And I like to think of it as true north. So no matter what your ideology, no matter who your hero is in the nutrition world, whatever diet you think might be best, this is a place where you can go to get a signal that rises above all that, because it's everybody who's anybody. We've got vegan experts, we've got paleo experts, we've got keto experts, we've got Mediterranean diet experts, all these different people, and we've got scientists and celebrity chefs and journalists like Sanjay Gupta, all in this same space, coming together to say we agree about the fundamentals, and then we lay them out. So if you go to truehealthinitiative.org, and maybe you guys can make a link available to listeners so they don't have to work quite so hard, but truehealthinitiative.org. And what we provide is information that says these are the fundamentals of a healthy diet. There are lots of different variants on the theme of a healthy diet. There isn't just one way, in other words. And it's what bad diets tend to imply. There's just, it's my way or the highway. This is the one right formula. Not true. There's a basic theme of healthy eating. And by the way, that should make sense, because we're all the same kind of animal. We're all part of the same human family. You think about any other kind of animal, it makes sense that dolphins should all eat fish, because they're dolphins. Now, individual dolphins are probably different from one another, but they're still dolphins. And giraffes should eat leaves, because they're giraffes, and on it goes. Why should we be so different? Basically, humans need to eat real food, mostly plants. But whether you eat certain kind of plants or other plants is up to you. And whether you only eat plants or you also eat some meat, up to you. Whether you eat fish instead of meat, up to you. And whether you have Mediterranean or flexitarian or vegetarian or vegan, whether you're Mexican or Cuban or Chinese or Vietnamese, you like a Southern diet, you like a Tex-Mex diet, all of these things can be accommodated. All of that's represented in terms of the evidence base at the True Health Initiative. So visit truehealthinitiative.org, and then that leads to Diet ID. Wow. There's a saying from the world of business that's equally pertinent in the world of medicine. We manage what we measure. Right. So, basically, if you're trying to monitor the success of a business, you need to measure key outcomes so you can tell whether or not you're succeeding, making a difference, making money, all the things that matter. And in medicine, the things that matter the most, we call vital signs: blood pressure, heart rate, temperature. We measure them in everybody all the time, and we track them. And when they're not right, we treat to a specific goal, right? There's a range of healthy blood pressure, and if you're outside that range, that's cause for concern, and it's acute action. Well, over the course of my career, I have watched diet quality go from being one of the leading predictors of premature death and chronic disease to being the number one leading predictor of premature death and chronic disease in the United States today. Over 500,000 people in our country die prematurely every year from poor quality diet. But we don't measure it in anybody. And we don't measure it because it's just too hard to do. And that really frustrated me. So I thought, we're not measuring it, so we're not managing it. And so all sorts of really bad things are happening. We need to do something about that. And Diet ID is a remedy for that. And go ahead, Mike, ask some questions and I'll be happy to dive in.
I was going to ask you about Tangelo. One of the areas of concern that many of us have are food insecurity and health equity. And I'm interested in what we're talking about. For a lot of people, it may sound like, it's way up here. And this doesn't really touch me down here. Tell us about the work you're doing in Tangelo and how that addresses food insecurity and health equity.
Sure. So at Diet ID, we have invented, patented, we have 2 patents and more pending, and studied extensively a brand new way to assess diet in as little as a minute. Go to dietid.com. You can see how we do it. It's easy. It's even fun. So we can make a comprehensive assessment of diet, including an objective measure of diet quality in as little as a minute. And then we can personalize a goal diet. So this was a company I founded and ran for a number of years. And then we were acquired. We were acquired by Tangelo, which is a food as medicine company. So what they were doing basically was, with government contracts focused in particular on underserved and food insecure populations, they were engaged in a benefits program that was delivering high quality food directly to people's homes. We put the two together, and now just think about it. We can assess what your diet is now, and we can do it comprehensively, and we can do it in a valid manner. We do it in a minute. And then we can use that information to determine exactly what's the ideal diet for you based on your health objectives, based on your cultural background, your personal preferences. And then we can turn that into a food as medicine prescription. And Tangelo has all the resources to then deliver food lined up against that specific prescription directly to your door. So we like to say at Tangelo, we make food that tastes like home and works like medicine, because it's powerful. It's the specific food you need to improve your health, but it's also designed to be right in your lane, the way you want to eat, the kind of food you want to be eating. That's powerful. So that's the full service platform we put together.
Tell us the link again for the Diet ID for that 1 minute evaluation.
Dietid.com. You can learn about what we've done and this breakthrough. It's the first fundamentally new way to do comprehensive dietary assessment introduced in about 50 years. I can't tell you why it was waiting for me to come up with it, because somebody else could have, but for whatever reason, I was the guy, and I was working out one day and had an aha moment, and that was the result.
Amazing.
And the other thing I want to mention, we were just talking before about the True Health Initiative. So one of the important things about Diet ID is essentially what we've done is we've created a map of diet space, diet type on the x-axis, diet quality on the y-axis, and just think about that as being like latitude and longitude on a map. You put the two together, you have coordinates, and you're in one small cell of the map. The beauty of it is we stratified all the different kinds of diets in the real world into the same 10 tiers of quality. And what that tells us is you can have a top quality diet in a wide variety of types. And that's the opportunity to love the food that loves you back. We can optimize the kind of diet you actually want to be eating. And that's when food as medicine works best, because you really actually want to be eating that way.
Wow, we're going to take a station break, but one of the things I want to say right now is when we come back from the station break, I want to know what type of foods is in this package. I mean, and a lot of people, probably viewers and listeners, want to know what that is as well, if they're going to be part of that initiative. And this information is so fantastic. And Doc, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if your schedule is going to allow you, but Dr. Mike and I would love to have you back on. I'm going to say it right now before we forget. Back on another upcoming show if your schedule permit. But I tell you,
but we're not going to wait 4 years.
And I promise I'm going to remember next time too. Yeah, that sounds great.
Whichever platform that you watch us on, wow, this is invaluable information. And if you got some questions, all you have to do is go to the comment or portion of whichever platform, or pick up the phone and call 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and I tell you, we'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023. Unified Brain Z and the other organizations, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And I tell you, Dr. Katz, Dr. Mantell, and I mean, both you guys are fantastic. And Dr. Mike, I had to give you a shout out, man, because I don't know how you go. I don't know what you do, what you say to get these absolutely world-class, top-notch docs. We done had some of the best in the business like we got on right now. So, Doc, I want to give you a shout out.
Thank you. Very kind.
And I tell you, this is such an absolutely fantastic, informative show. And we talk about a lot of different things, preventive medicine, and also eating right, and other things that is required. I think it's required in order to have a healthy life, a long, healthy life. And I think that our viewers and our listeners should take heed and understand. So Michelle, I know you got a questions coming up, but Dr. Katz, can you tell our viewers and our listeners, Mike, and I forget, how can they get in touch with you if they want to get more knowledge? How can they get the products? How can they just reach out to you if that's possible?
Absolutely. I'm pretty easy to find. I recommend basically just Google me. You'll probably land on my LinkedIn platform or something. But I'm happy to have people contact me directly. dkatz@dietid.com. That's an easy one. And they can email me directly. My website is davidkatzmd.com. So we've given them a number of places they can go. And just quickly, before you ask the next question, I just want to note, as you're saying, that people should take this information seriously. And I just want to quickly point out that I think we all too often talk about health as if it's a moral imperative, as if it's somebody in a lab coat shaking a finger telling you about what you should do. And I think what we often miss is the fact that healthy people have more fun. The reason you should do it is not because you should, but because you want to, because health is a source of pleasure. Other things being equal, if you're healthy, your life is better. You can do more of what you love to do. You have more energy. You feel better. You live longer. You spend more time with the people you love. A whole lot of good stuff happens if you're healthier than if you're not. And that's the value proposition of health we tend to overlook. So yeah, you should, but not because someone else says you should, but because who wouldn't want the best possible life? That's what health can help you have. It's not the only thing you need, but it's a really, really important ingredient. And what we've been talking about today, if we were to distill it down to what's most important, is that you have a tremendous amount of control over your own health. I think we often externalize that and think it's a doctor or some other expert or somebody who wrote a book. But lifestyle is the best of medicine, and you are in control of that, which means you have substantial control over your own medical destiny. Not perfect control. No, none of us has perfect control, but a whole lot of control. And the reason to care is because healthy people have more fun.
I like that. Healthy people have more fun. That's a great slogan that on our show. Healthy people have more fun. Dr. Katz, I like what you said about, people need to take control of their health, not because someone's telling them to do so. Why do you believe that besides the benefits of eating right when it comes to nutrition, that we also have to take a step a little further, do our research on the ingredients, on the items that we're eating and that, we're drinking when it comes to reading the labels and just seeing how how our body reacts to those things, because what you eat determines how you feel, your mood swings, whether you're grouchy, whether you're extra, hyper because of maybe excess sugar. So what are your thoughts on that, and that people need to take a little bit more proactive and just going a little step further and reading the ingredients in the things that
I want to expand on what you just said, Michelle, and say that it's much worse than that. So there's a Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist named Michael Moss, who wrote a New York Times Magazine cover story excerpted from one of his books. And the title of that story was The Extraordinary Science of Addictive Junk Food. Just let that sink in for a minute. The extraordinary science of addictive junk food. In other words, scientists are working not only to make junk food, but to make it addictive so you can't stop eating it. Well, that's what those complicated ingredient lists are all about. It's willful manipulation by teams of people whose job it is to make it impossible to stop eating because they know how to activate the human appetite center. They use modern technology like functional MRI machines to figure out how to do that. And so, yes, we need to read labels if we want to fight back. It's not really fair. We shouldn't have to work so hard. Food should just be food instead of willfully addictive junk. But because there's so much willfully addictive junk, we need a method to see through that. we developed many years ago at my lab a nutrition label literacy program designed for elementary school kids called Nutrition Detective. So I invite everybody to Google Nutrition Detectives. You can find the program. But let me give you a couple of quick tips from that program. We taught this to 8 and 9-year-olds, so everybody here can certainly master it quickly. The shorter the ingredient list, the better. If there's stuff in there you don't recognize as food coming from any place in there, you've never heard of it, you can't pronounce it, step away from the box and nobody will get hurt. The more you stick to simple ingredients recognizable as actual food, the better. And the better in many ways. One, you'll avoid the willfully addictive junk problem. Two, among the many virtues of high quality foods is they fill you up on fewer calories. So all of a sudden weight control becomes much easier because you're eating real food. It satisfies you with fewer calories. And we could go on and on. So Michelle, you raised some very important points, but you don't have to work really hard with ingredient lists and food labels. Just a few simple things. Remember, the first ingredient is the most abundant, so that should be appropriate. The shorter the ingredient list, the better. Just those two will take you a long way.
If people follow this advice, there's no doubt that they're going to live healthier, longer lives, happier lives, and the list goes on. This is remarkable. One last quick question. We have 2 minutes. What is the biggest challenge that you think is facing public health today, and how can we address it?
This is a good start, gentlemen. Civility. The biggest problem, I think, is division and our tendency to divide into us and them, and then the amplification of that with misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. Look at what happened to us during the pandemic. We could have responded much more effectively if we had been balanced, reasonable, listened to one another, thought about the competing priorities, tried to minimize all the risks that people were exposed to. And that's true in every aspect of public health. When we talk about nutrition, if we become dogmatic and ideological, we start calling one another names. We basically retreat to opposing corners, and basically the paleo people hurl a leg of turkey at your head, and the vegans try to stab you with a carrot.
They try to stab you.
Yeah. But if we're willing to agree, look, there's a fundamental theme of healthy living, but there are variants on the theme. It can accommodate our differences. Then we can gravitate to the science and sense of that common ground in the middle. And in order to get there, and I think that's the promised land, that common ground, common cause.
In the middle. And I'll tell you what, Dr. Katz, been absolutely outstanding. Must have you back on again if you'll allow you. I like Dr. Mantell.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Katz.
Pleasure.
Michelle, putting together another show. And our viewers and our listeners, thank you. Thank you for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's your life, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and also Saturday and Sunday as well. I always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your life.
Cooley Show. It's your life.